Hi everybody, it's Anne, the Purple Goddess, and I'm here to do a little video about the Celtic Wheel of the Year. And it's a brand new year, and I'm in Canada, in the province of Ontario. And you might say, oh, why is she teaching about the Celtic Wheel of the Year? What's it all about? Well, at Purple Goddess Enterprises, we are here to encourage women, and the men who love women, and the women who love women, to honor their spirituality and to find the sacred within themselves, and doing it in the goddess tradition. And the goddess tradition is about Mother Earth. Mother Earth is the first and the holistic goddess. She holds us, doesn't she, as opposed to Father Sky. We need Father Sky, but we need Mother Earth for the balance. So today is something called Imbolc, I-M-B-O-L-C. And I'm going to do a little teaching about Imbolc, but before I do that, I just want to say that the Celtic Wheel of the Year is a way to reclaim one's spirituality. It's getting back in touch with nature, the cycles of nature, and how we change and grow through the cycles of nature. And this is something that the ancient ones, our ancestors, did. And we have the opportunity to reclaim that tradition. So what's involved in the Celtic Wheel of the Year? There are 8 times when our ancient ancestors did special celebrations, and the first one is the one we're going to talk about in a moment, which is called Imbolc, or Candlemas. And then it's spring equinox, which is in March, Beltane, which is in May, summer solstice, which is in June, Lammas harvest time, which is in August, fall equinox, which is in September, something called Samhain, which is in October, and then finally winter solstice, which is in December. So those are the 8 things. But let's talk about Imbolc, which is today, which is the beginning of February. And Imbolc literally means in the belly. And in the belly is spring awaiting to land upon us. So even though we're doing this video where there's an ice storm today, we're halfway through winter with Imbolc, but we have the promise of spring in the belly and the beginning of light returning in our culture, and this is really great. So how can you celebrate Imbolc? If you're living alone or with your family, I always have a little spirituality circle, but let's just say you're by yourself. What can you do to honor the beginning Celtic Wheel of the Year by celebrating Imbolc? The first thing to do is to buy yourself a crocus plant. And you might think, where am I going to find a crocus plant in the middle of winter? Interestingly enough, florist shops have crocus plants this time of year, and not all florist shops, but you can find one. So here's my crocus plant over here, and I bought it at the little flower shop around the corner of my house. And pretty soon this crocus plant is going to produce a purple flower for the Purple Goddess, of course, but it'll produce a purple flower for you too. And this is just a reminder, halfway through winter, that there is a plant, and there's a little flower, a little plant that's bursting through the soil, and whether that's in your house or actually in the ground somewhere, that new life is coming. So get yourself a crocus plant. It's a reminder of what's coming. If you're going to do a little kind of ritual, light a candle, and we'll talk about why the candle and the flame and fire is important. So here we've got the crocus plant, the candle lit, and we have something very interesting that's called a Bridget's cross, and this is the Bridget's cross right here. And in ancient times, the family would go out and pull weeds, not weeds, reeds, from the water or pond that might be on their property. And they would cut the reeds down, bring them into the house, and they would make this cross. And this is known as Bridget's cross. And all crosses kind of basically are a representation of the directions: earth, air, fire, and water. This one has a very unique design. So if you've got children or grandchildren, you might want to Google Bridget's cross. You'll see something like this, and you could maybe go to a craft store and you could make your own. Occasionally you might, in an Irish shop, you might be able to buy something like this, which is where I got this one. But this is just an invitation to do a Bridget's cross, and that celebrates Imbolc, or it's symbolic of Imbolc. So you've got the plant, you've got a candle, you've got Bridget's cross, and oh my gosh, I gave away already then what the goddess was for Imbolc. It's Bridget. Bridget from Ireland is very, very famous, and she's all about this time of year. And first of all, there was an actual Saint Bridget who ran a convent in Ireland and was very well known and very accomplished, as many sisters are. But Bridget was also a legend that is got a history of 5,000 years old, 5,000-year-old history of Bridget. And there is a holy well and a sacred flame in Kildare, Ireland, to honor Bridget and the long, long 1,000-year legend and history that she has in Ireland. So Bridget brings us many gifts as a goddess. And the first gift is she's the goddess of fire. And let me just get a picture here of her. And Bridget always has a red hair. And in this picture, she's got fire coming out of her hair. And I'm wearing red today in memory and in honor of Bridget. And so we associate her with fire, and I want you to think about where do you need to refire your life? And sometimes I talk to people who are on the cusp of retirement, and I say, don't think about retirement, think about refirement. How are you in the last stage of your life, or the many more volumes to come, because people are living a long time now? How are you going to refire yourself? And if you're younger, think about Katy Perry's song, Baby, You're a Firework. Baby, you're a firework. It's such a hot song. We're a firework. Where is your fire in your belly? Because Imbolc is about what's in your belly. What needs to come out? What fire needs to come out of you? So that's the first gift we have from Bridget, is fire. The second one is water. And well, first of all, obviously we need to keep drinking lots of water, because our body's mostly water, and nourish ourselves that way. But water is also a metaphor for the inner well. And what is in your inner well? And when you think about a real well, we don't see them very much anymore in the urban landscape. But when there's a real well, there's a bucket, it goes down, and it pulls the water up. So what is it in your inner well that needs to come up, that you can pull up? And often this is about a truth that you need to say to yourself, and you need to bring it up to the surface. Because when we say the truth about something, we get a healing. And it's not always easy to pull up that truth, and it could be anything. Are you with the wrong lover, for example, or partner? Are you in the wrong job? Is there something going on that it's just difficult to say the truth about? So finding your inner well, your inner water, bringing that up and getting some healing is another gift that we get from Bridget. And then finally, the gift we have from Bridget is poetry. Bridget wrote poems and is associated with poetry. And we recently lost a famous poet in North America by the name of Mary Oliver. And but you know, we all have the seeds of being a poet inside of us. So I want to encourage you to write a little poem. So that's my little teaching today about Imbolc. Get yourself a crocus plant. Find out what you can about a Bridget's cross. And the Bridget's cross, sometimes there's also jewelry, really beautiful jewelry that's got this symbol on it, maybe again in an Irish shop. And as a result of this little teaching, you might begin to see the Bridget's cross somewhere. But anyway, going back, get your plant, look up Bridget's cross, find your fire, and rekindle the water in your sacred well, which is within. And I want to finish with a little poem that I learned from going to a Bridget festival. There are many people around the world who celebrate Bridget, all many different ways. And the poem is, we come together at Bridget's well, we kindle the flame within. We come together at Bridget's well and we kindle the flame within. Come gather, and dance in the place of change where nothing remains the same. And so I want to leave you with this little symbol. Let's just have a look at this. This is the Wee Moon calendar for 2019. But on the cover this year is a picture, I think probably of Bridget, right? And it's this woman holding out her hand with the flame. So let's, at Imbolc, fan the flame. How are you going to fan the flame of your life with Bridget's help? And I know you can do it. So fan your flame. Blessed be till we meet again.